now for our next news special report.
In an unexpected twist, a household name takes center stage in the defense of free speech. The ACLU, historically opposed to Trump, now stands against Judge Chutkan's gag order. Why? And what does this mean for our republic? It's not just about Trump, it's about the very fabric of our freedoms. As this story unfolds, you'll see how Special Counsel Jack Smith's quest for a tighter grip on Trump's speech might shake the foundational rights that we hold dear. This isn't just news. It's a matter of upholding the principles our republic stands on. Stay with me through every revelation, and trust me, you'll want to hear the final thought at the end. Now, before we dive deeper, I'd like to highlight something crucial. Think of our news broadcasts as a muscular body delivering powerful punches of information. But as age creeps in, our strength can wane. And that's why, including me, trust an innovative product to combat age-related muscle loss. Imagine fortifying your news body with this solution, keeping it robust and reliable. Every time you opt for this product, you're fueling our mission. Get 41% off until stocks last at gainwithgary.com or click more below. Now back to our story. The very foundation of our republic stands on the principles of freedom. Freedom of expression being a cornerstone. This freedom is currently under threat for former President Donald Trump as Special Counsel Jack Smith endeavors to limit what he can say and even suggests jail as a punitive measure should he speak on certain matters. And here's how MSNBC covered the news. Watch this.
Special Counsel Jack Smith is urging federal judge Tanya Chutkan to reinstate a gag order against the disgraced, twice impeached, 4 times indicted ex-president Donald Trump. That's after he posted on social media appearing to openly intimidate his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Judge Chutkan had imposed a narrow gag order earlier this month in the election interference case, but she put it on hold last week while she considered an appeal from Trump. The ex-president immediately seized on that pause, seeing it as an opportunity to post about Mark Meadows on Truth Social, shown here as evidence in a new court filing by Smith's team. The filing reads, quote, "The defendant has returned to the very sort of targeting that the order prohibits, including attempting to intimidate and influence foreseeable witnesses and commenting on the substance of their testimony." Quote, "For example, on October 24th, 2023, the defendant took to social media to respond to a news report claiming that his former chief of staff, identified in the indictment, had testified in exchange for a grant of immunity. The defendant does not need to explicitly incite harassment or violence in his public statements because he well knows that by publicly targeting perceived adversaries with inflammatory language, he can maintain a plausible deniability while ensuring the desired results. The defendant knows the effect of his targeting and seeks to use it to his strategic advantage, while simultaneously disclaiming any responsibility for the very acts he causes."
Now first, a bit of background. Judges in the ideal landscape of justice are neutral entities devoid of political bias. But recent actions by Special Counsel Jack Smith suggest otherwise. By pushing Judge Tanya Chutkan to intensify the gag order on Trump, there appears to be an undercurrent of political maneuvering. Rather than upholding the values of a fair trial, it seems Smith seeks to shield his prosecution from public scrutiny. The core question remains, doesn't the public deserve transparency on the evidence presented against Trump? Judge Chutkan had previously laid down a gag order preventing Trump from voicing criticisms towards Smith and his team of prosecutors. While the initial order was temporary, Smith's recent motion indicates a desire to tighten the reins on Trump's speech even further. The stakes? Potential jail time if Trump even breaches the topic of witnesses. Now, there's been no shortage of media attention on this matter. Recently, a video clip showcased Smith's explicit request for the strict gag order. A notable segment from the 32-page motion submitted by Smith captures the essence of his intentions, asking Judge Chutkan to not only maintain but bolster the gag order, setting up what many view as an unwarranted trap for Trump. The allegations are serious. Trump is accused of attempting to prejudice the jury pool with inflammatory comments against citizens, the court, the prosecutors, and potential witnesses. But this narrative is shrouded in contention. Where is the line between free speech and influencing a trial? And how does one maintain balance in such a politically charged environment? Judge Chutkan's initial gag order was far-reaching, dictating that Trump can't utter a word against Smith, his team, court staff, or witnesses. But the predicament doesn't stop there. Despite these constraints, Smith and his allies appear to have the liberty to discuss Trump as they see fit, creating an imbalance in public perception. In a recent post, Trump commented on his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, leading to Smith requesting even stricter sanctions. Despite media claims, Meadows' attorney refuted narratives suggesting Meadows had struck a deal with the DOJ. And on Truth Social, Trump wrote, "I don't think Mark Meadows would lie about the rigged and stolen 2020 presidential election merely for getting immunity against prosecution or persecution by deranged prosecutor Jack Smith. But when you really think about it, after being hounded like a dog for 3 years, told you'd be going to jail for the rest of your life, your money, your family will be forever gone, and we're not at all interested in exposing those that did the ringing. If you say bad things about that terrible monster, Donald J. Trump, we won't put you in prison. You can keep your family and your wealth, and perhaps if you can make up some really horrible stuff about him, we may very well erect a statue of you in the middle of our decaying and now very violent capital, Washington, D.C. Some people would make that deal, but they are weaklings and cowards and so bad for the future of our failing nation. I don't think that Mark Meadows is one of them, but who really knows? Make America great again." Now, amidst the turmoil, there is a new player on the board, one many didn't anticipate, the American Civil Liberties Union. Longtime critics of Trump, they came forward challenging the gag order's very foundation. In an unexpected twist, the ACLU championed Trump's right to speak, and their assertion, this isn't about Trump, it's about the First Amendment. A spokesperson from the ACLU remarked that, quote, this gag order's precedent could have long-term repercussions. Today it's Trump, tomorrow it could be anyone. They argued that such stifling of speech is against the spirit of the Constitution. And the public sentiment? Well, it's mixed. On one side, ardent Trump supporters label this as a political witch hunt. On the other, there are voices that agree with Smith's concerns about a potential bias in the jury pool. However, the significance of the story transcends politics. It touches the very essence of our republic, freedom of speech. Trump, despite his controversial tenure and divisive rhetoric, is still an American citizen. And if citizens' rights can be curtailed based on their public stature, what does this spell for the common man? To understand this from a legal perspective, we reached out to constitutional law expert Professor Janet Elmore. She mentioned that the trial's integrity is paramount, yet the delicate balance between a fair trial and First Amendment rights is essential. In Trump's case, the pendulum seems to swing against freedom of speech. But as the drama unfolds, one thing is evident. The outcome of this legal tussle will not merely impact Trump, it holds implications for the very fabric of American democracy. The line between safeguarding trial integrity and preserving constitutional rights is thin and blurry. How our judicial system navigates this will be a testament to the nation's commitment to its foundational principles. While the ongoing legal battle between Trump, Smith, and the ACLU may seem like another political skirmish, the stakes are much higher. This is about our republic, our Constitution, and the rights we all hold dear. The outcome will shape the narrative of American politics for years to come. The question we must all ask ourselves is, how far are we willing to go to protect our freedoms? As we wrap up today's intense and insightful deep dive, it's important to step back and see the broader picture. Many view the Trump gag order issue through a narrow lens of political partisanship. But in reality, the implications stretch far beyond the realm of one individual or one party. Now, the foundation of any republic is its commitment to upholding the rights and freedoms of its citizens. Our First Amendment right, the freedom of speech, is not just a privilege, but a profound responsibility. It's a testament to our nation's belief in the power of discourse, debate, and dialogue. When this freedom comes under threat or is selectively applied, the very essence of our republic is at risk. Special Counsel Jack Smith's request and the subsequent involvement of the ACLU remind us that this is not a mere political tiff. It's a watershed moment that questions the boundaries of our fundamental rights. While ensuring a fair trial is of the utmost importance, so too is the preservation of the right to voice one's opinion, however controversial it may be. We find ourselves at a crossroads. The path we choose now as a nation will echo through the corridors of time, influencing not just political narratives, but the very way in which the future generations perceive their rights and responsibilities. Let's remember, as we watch this drama unfold, that it's not just about Trump or Smith or the ACLU, it's about us, the American people. It's about our values, our Constitution, and our unwavering belief in the principles that founded this great nation. So as you switch off your screens tonight, ponder this one thing. If there's one thing, how do we ensure justice without compromising our freedoms? And where do we draw the line in the sand? Our answers will shape our future. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.